to field. Stanford transfer. Lumi, Kostmayer. Running after. Noles able to dispossess.
Well, Seminoles will definitely look to dispossess in the midfield here, Jack. They're very aggressive. They like to get on their front foot and agitate backline defenders. But certainly this might be an element where Cal may play a little bit defensively today, and Florida State is going to have to be comfortable with building up from the back if that's the avenue they are forced to take.
They start with it at the back, and Heather Gilchrist holds it down better than many center backs here in the country. Big shot for Gilly. Up over the back of Kenley Whitaker. Let's take a quick look at the 3-5-2 for Brian Penske today. A change, Una McCormack back into the starting lineup alongside Taylor Suarez. And up top, of course, Jordan Dudley joined with Wrianna Hudson. But the big change in net, Cato Keene makes her second career start. The freshman out of Sandy, Utah, taking over for Addie Todd, who has really been the mainstay in between the pipes this season.
And also last year as well, Jack. And
now attack for Cal. Kostmayer trying to get on the end of it. Just wide of the netting. Cato Keene will go for the goal kick.
Yeah, she's getting her first action, well positioned on that left side. Brian Penske really likes her big save potential, can really fly, as a fearless mindset, has really strong hands. She actually showed her toughness against Alabama in a preseason game earlier this year where she took a hard knock. And that really proved to him and the coaching staff that she can take a shot and can stand tall amongst the chaos if it comes to her.
Last time out, 45 minutes versus NC State. Back on September 21st. Got a start earlier on this season versus FIU. 150 minutes total. But Brian Penske, as you mentioned, Trevor, fully confident in his freshman keeper. She'll look to keep it rolling for the Noles. This is a Florida State team that's only allowed 8 goals all season, 6 of them coming in the last 2 games alone. Looking to build a little bit of momentum as a foul is called against the Noles, and Brian Penske looks on, trying to get things right for his squad.
Well, he fully believed in those last 2 games. They faced the 2 best teams in the country. For the likes of Notre Dame and Stanford, both were ranked number 2. Stanford ranked number 2 currently. And, you know, you take a look at the first part of that Notre Dame game, they really dominated the track. They got 2 goals up early. They really liked the flow and the momentum that they were doing. Mimi Van Zanten in particular was a player that really showed up and made an impact in the center as she's learning to play that 6th spot, a holding midfielder spot, and really made a great impact setting up some goals. Really provided a difference, but they'd like to keep that momentum going and see consistent style of play through all 90 minutes, something they're not right now. They haven't exactly locked in just yet and have figured out against top quality teams.
Yeah, and that 6th spot's been huge just for the Noles and their history, especially even under Brian Penske last year with Chris Beckman, of course, going further back, Leilani Nesmith. He could keep going with so many great Noles that have played in that role, but Mimi Van Zanten has certainly been fantastic for this team in all positions. As Florida State going to get it ahead of Una McCormack, knocked out of bounds, and a throw in to come.
Yeah, you really need an undying will mentality and basically be an animal out there, and that's exactly what that position is warranted for Florida State. You know, you touched on Leilani Nesmith. Jalen Howe was an absolute animal for Florida State for 4 years, leading to multiple national titles under her resume, under her tenure.
Throw in here on the far sideline. Looking for Hudson, knocked down. Stolen away by McCormack. Now in the box, McCormack blocked by Cal. Back out to Gilchrist. Inside Dudley, dispossessed. Good play from Reese Doherty. And now Cal running up the left side. Kenley Whitaker making her first career start. Sophomore out of Wilsonville, Oregon. Track star in high school. She's got the pace on the left side, but again, only 14 active field players today for Neil McGuire's side. So a lot of players shifting around, Trev, the different positions, trying to make things work. But again, this is a Cal team this season. They're 3rd in the ACC for a reason. They have just found a way. Kostmayer, big body, trying to knock it down, cleared away by Florida State.
That's a good clearance, and you saw before that free kick, you see the sequence of what Cal can do. They feed up to Lumi. Kostmayer holds it up very nicely and allow Whitaker, Hop as well on the other side. They could come up and provide a lot of speed and a good transition moment. And it draws a foul, gives them a free kick chance that with a ball into the box.
Knocked out of bounds by Anasia Cologne, the transfer from Arizona State. She's been great this season, too. In minutes for the Noles. Throw in to come for Cal. Mia Fontana to take it. This was Suarez. Talented sophomore. Let's look to switch the field. Switch Ada McGrew. Big-time freshman for the Noles, a part of that incredible recruiting class this past season for Brian Penske, ranked #1 from Top Drawer Soccer. So much talent all across this field for Brian Penske's Noles.
A lot of players that went to that World Cup last year for the U20s that are on this field right now. On both sides of the ball, Tegan Y was there, goalkeeper for Cal.
Played alongside a couple of Noles, and Una McCormack, who was with Virginia last season, also a part of that team. You also talk about Nanya Torre, and also one of the Noles that is there, and Evan Osteen at the U17s right now.
Came away with a victory last night, both getting the start over in Morocco, and Nanya Torre collecting a goal for herself for the Stars and Stripes.
Out wide, Sophia Wynn. Looking to deliver a ball into the box, cleared away by Doherty. McGrew back to Wynn. Down the line looking for Hudson. It's Malia McMahon working over there. Will be a throw-in for Florida State.
Yeah, so far it's Doherty and McMahon. Those are the two center backs right now for Cal that have done a magnificent job. Both have great instincts, have some scoring capability, particularly with Malia McMahon. Both have been locked down. Really nicely done for Y.
Outside the box, Gilchrist, the shot. And then too high, goal kick to come. Gilchrist, one of the players, as you mentioned, last year in the U20s with the United States. The best center backs in the country. And making her 70th career start this afternoon for Florida State. Tegan Y boots it up the pitch. Knocked down out wide with Miriam Hills. Hills again looking to switch. All the way back, Gilchrist to claim again. This is a Florida State team. We mentioned the loss to Stanford on Thursday. It's also a little bit of new territory, Trevor. They haven't played as many games this season. Brian Penske telling us this is their first true Thursday-Sunday matchup. So while the Noles definitely have the numbers advantage over a banged-up Cal squad, still making sure you're fresh and ready after a tough loss here at home on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, you have to adjust for sure of what Stanford can force out of you.
Now the Noles again, Una McCormack. Inside a win, trying to play it right back. Good defense from Cal and cleared away. Back with McGrew.
Yeah, Stanford will definitely know how to play different styles, and they definitely got on their front foot and got a little bit of momentum early on in that matchup.
Cologne inside, Van Zanten lets it go and cleared away. Cheeky little move from Van Zanten with the dummy, trying to get it rolling past to Wrianna Hudson. Noles go quick.
And I really like that creative mindset and that dial-up of a play right there by Van Zanten. Get a little creative. I think that's something that Florida State needs to evolve into a little bit more here in the later stages of the regular season that maybe can lead to a few more goals.
Yeah, so far 10 minutes into this match, it's been all Florida State possession-wise. The Noles do well, but again, a Cal team that just finds a way. You go back a week and a half ago, they take down a Virginia team at the time ranked #1 in the country, or excuse me, tie that game 2-2, but 2 goals coming in the remaining 10 minutes of that game. And Neil McGuire was ecstatic when you talk about what that win does in his 19th season as the head coach at the helm of the Golden Bears. And Now you beat Virginia Tech, you beat Miami, and even with a little bit of a banged-up roster, trying to maintain that momentum right now, especially versus another top opponent like Florida State.
Well, he's certainly gone through a gauntlet, and they still have Stanford left on the schedule. And I'll say this, I think Cal has a case to have him be the ACC Coach of the Year, given all the injuries that they've had to suffer, the road trips that they're going on, and having to drag out, some of these results that they've gotten. They're still in the top 6 right now. And to come away with the results they've had and to face the teams they've had to put up with being shorthanded too, I think is a job well done, and he deserves a good round of applause for what Cal has been able to produce so far.
And this was a Cal team year 2 in the ACC, a primarily older roster last year. They graduated over 10 seniors, and they get a little bit of a youth movement this year. But again, they have just found ways to get results, found ways to win, and that's the reason why they're 3rd place right now. And it's more importantly, Trevor, as we've mentioned a little bit already this afternoon, it's the will, it's the belief that this team has that they can get it done.
Oh, yeah, they definitely have a strong belief. It's a hard foul. Hop looked like to be the guilty party there as McGrew hit the grass hard. But it comes from, obviously, their players are really they have a really sound mind about them.
And that ball will roll out.
I mean, their midfield is extremely experienced. They have 3 seniors that are really monitoring the midfield, and Bonflaza and Thistle and Klaus. I mean, they've been really locking things down there. They win balls. They do a great job of flipping the field to get that offensive attack moving. And again, they don't score many goals, and they're coming off of a year where Carly Lima was the ACC Offensive Player of the Year last season, so they've missed some of that goal production, but even without Carly, they still have a sound defense behind them.
No doubt, and they haven't had to score too much goals when you got someone like Tegan Y in the net. Coming off back-to-back shutouts herself. That'll be an area to watch on both sides. Again, Cato Keene starting, and there's Tegan Y, part of that U20 United States team last year. Won ACC Defensive Player of the Week 3 times this season for her efforts in the net.
And she's already 2nd in saves among ACC goalkeepers, and typically that's not a great stat to have if you're a squad. You want to have your saves pretty low.
Here come the Noles. McCormack looking inside of Hudson, can't get to the end of it. Suarez there, off to Cologne, a touch inside. And dispossessed. A little bit of miscommunication there, but the Noles able to retain it. Gilchrist into the box service. Hudson heads it away, and a goal kick to come.
So one of the more dangerous chances for Florida State to get something, but again, not on frame. And with the slickness of the field and the ball, that's going to be even more challenging on some of these crosses and services. But Gilchrist does a nice job of putting it right square on Hudson. She has to make an adjustment, just not enough to get the ball on frame for that far corner.
Yeah, that's one thing to mention. Obviously, these players are used to the surface being slick, but it's been raining here for probably the last 2 hours. So that'll maybe 2 to 3 hours. That'll certainly change things up on the surface. Is almost a stolen pass in front of the net by Hudson. Cal lucky to keep it. In the middle with Whitaker. OKK stepping up to dispossess. The Noles take back over.
And just to finish the point on the saves, it's obviously great that you can make saves, but that also means that you're allowing a lot of shots. And so Cal has been really trying to hold the fort down, but Y has done her due diligence in getting the Bears where they are right now in the standings. And you see the sure gloves that she can provide, but has the capability of making quality saves along with facing a lot of fire, facing a lot of saves at the same time. She does a great job. She stays calm, presence of mind, point-blank saves. She's really good, knows where to be in the right moments.
That's the thing. I mean, obviously, shots don't truly determine the outcome of games, but Cal's been outshot in their last 5 games. As Florida State with an attack. It's McCormack. And a great save from Tegan Y. Right on cue, Trevor. A kick save from the senior, denying McCormack in the first corner kick of the afternoon coming up.
Or USU 20 back and forth right here between Tegan and Una. But some downhill running clear into the box. A lot of space for McCormack. Needs to make a little bit of a couple moves there against Doherty. But Tegan Wise standing tall. Comes off just the line a little bit, but great reaction.
A high lofted ball from Cologne, cleared away by the Bears. Still working, though, in the box. And knocked out of bounds by Mia Fontana. It will be a throw-in for Florida State.
Fontana coming off of her forward spot to fill in for Elham Kursand, who got injured against Miami. So she's having to do some duty there on the left back spot tonight.
You mentioned her as a forward. She scored last game versus Miami, her 8th consecutive start for the Golden Bears. Doing what's needed right now. McCormack not able to handle it. Inside with Kloss, now out wide. Looking for help, finds Thistle in the middle and trying to connect with Kostmayer. Goes all the way back to O'Keefe. Still a stalemate halfway through this first half. 0-0 the score, 7th ranked Noles. Cal coming in this week receiving some votes, and they're third place in the ACC for a reason. We were kind of talking about this before the broadcast, Trevor. You look at those teams like Florida State on the outside looking in, it's surprising. Just shows you how deep, too, that this conference is. You just never know, and night in, night out.
I mean, it's so deep, and it only got deeper 2 years ago when you bring in Stanford and Cal, SMU trying to rise through the ranks as well. So this conference has always been deep.
Gilchrist, a ball in behind for McCormack, trying to get on the end of it into the side netting for a goal kick.
So again, Florida State getting McCormack involved. Great timely run off the back line. McMahon doing a nice job following her step for step, but Noles are starting to find some spaces with McCormack, and Jordan Dudley's been fairly silent, although she's trying to make a play for her team right now, going up against Doherty.
Doherty doing her best to clear it away. Will be a throw-in for Florida State. Haven't called Jordan Dudley's name too much. Coming off a goal versus Miami. The name speaks for herself. In this sport, she has been fantastic. Now in her 3rd year in Tallahassee.
Yeah, leading Florida State in points with just 19, however, and there's definitely been some moments where she could maybe have 10 goals perhaps if she had her way.
It's funny, you just say just. I love what from Jordan Dudley as she's gotten older in her career, the assists now. Last year led this team in assists, doing it again this season with 9. The way that she not only scores, but sets up her teammates. Just so talented up front in that forward spot.
Yeah, I mean, she just draws so much attention, and rightfully so. I mean, the ACC 2023 Freshman of the Year. I mean, she just had a phenomenal year en route to Florida State's only undefeated national championship season. I mean, she can really just do it all at that forward position.
Suarez keeps the ball back to Van Zanten. Dudley looking to lay it off for Suarez. Cal, a good job sitting back up to Kostmayer.
And there was and there was an example right there of Jordan, what she can do. You know, she may draw attention, but she can also flick and she can also distribute off of a one-touch pass and set up a Taylor Suarez, a Una McCormack, or Rhea Hudson, somebody else that is maybe left a little bit alone where that ball's going. She has a great sense of mind of knowing, okay, I may be able to hold up the ball, but I could also just give it off to one of my talented teammates right next to me.
Irwin taken away. Foul called as McGrew hits the deck. Going against Amelie Hop. Hop, her first career start. Out of Brodesdorf, Germany. Redshirt junior for the Golden Bears. So both left and right wings in their first career start, but again, just doing what's needed and trying to find a way in conference play.
Yeah, Whitaker, we've seen her a couple times with the ball already. Good off-the-dribble attacker, can definitely fly up a wing. Hobbs more of a passer, good one-on-one.
Chest down by Hudson, not able to keep it, and knocked to the other side. Still a battle in the midfield. Going to be a foul against Wrianna. It looks like Taylor Suarez. Knocking Noel Bonflasha to the ground. Two very talented midfielders for either side. And now Cal will look to get a little bit up the pitch, and Tegan Y to take. See her shouting higher to her team, trying to get them up the field. Flip things a little bit for Cal. Kostmayer. Now out wide, Fontana.
That's a good find right there for Mia Fontana.
A lot of white jerseys out there. Bonflasha chasing after it. Gilchrist. And knocked out by Hudson. Going down is Kenley Whitaker, and that's just...
Laterally.
It'll be Coco Thistle to take. Second on this team in points this season. Thistle on the right foot. Cal trying to get on the end of it. Cleared away by Van Zanten.
Well done by Florida State. Had marks across that line. And then Van Zanten clearing it out of harm's way. And that's definitely a spot for Florida State in recent years. It's not just something unique to this year. Set piece defending. You know, that's something that if they can figure that out and be locked down defensively, you eliminate other chances and extra chances for teams that are vying for those opportunities when they may not get many throughout the rest of a match because of how dominant Florida State is attacking. They just have the ball all the time. Best defense is a good offense, and that's what Florida State has relied upon historically.
Cal trying to change things up. Good touch on the outside. Now back inside to Bonflasha. Cal just looking to keep it now. Again, even with the injuries, a team that knows how to possess the ball against number 1 Virginia. The 2-2 draw. They connected 430 passes. Not many teams have been able to do that this year. Trying to get some play between Kostmayer and Fontana. Rolls on the end of it, clear it out with Hudson. McCormick. Now the Noles reset. Janet Okeke.
Cal is completely comfortable with Florida State just trying to bring the ball up from the back as the Seminoles are trying to look for a long ball. Trying to look for the likes of Jordan Dudley, Rhea Hudson, Una McCormack down to find the open space and time a run, but Cal has been soundly in position.
Sophia Wynn cutting inside, knocked away, Thistle. Anasia Cologne, great job to dispossess. Trying to play Dudley in behind, still chasing it. Good job. Aaliyah McMahon able to shield away Jordan Dudley. And out for a Cal throw.
That ball sent over all the way to Stadium Drive. Careful if you're driving on this slippery road too, and there's a soccer ball in the way.
Don't see that too often. Up the pitch, Kostmayer. Turns and waits for teammates, now goes back. Lifted all the way outside of Fontana. Doherty. Switched all the way to Hills, now Thistle.
Seminoles now looking like they're working with 4 in the back. Sophia Wynn trending her way backwards a little bit more. So that's the thing about that 3-5-2, Jack. You have 2 wingers on the outside that can drop back to a max of 5 if you wanted a true defensive position. But you know, the Seminoles could also work 1 back if they wanted to put 4 backs. But they can easily shift different looks with this formation.
Brian Penske, in his time here in Tallahassee, primarily playing with the 4-back. After that Kansas game earlier on this season, they drew. It was the change to the 3-5-2, and they haven't looked back since. Just trying to fit all the talent they have on this roster into positions that they would succeed the most, as McCormack able to steal it away in the final third. Now with Dudley. Great job again from Hills on the right side. Big tackle from Jordan Dudley. A couple players down right now. Kostmayer, that's Hills.
Yeah, Dudley got tangled up with Hills as that clearance attempt was going, and then Kostmayer coming back trying to get the ball before Jada McGrew could get involved. So again, like you said, you're Neil McGuire, you hold your breath a bit because you don't want to
score between 7th-ranked Florida State and the Cal Golden Bears. Tegan Y boots it up the pitch. We're back underway. Good turn on the far side, now crossed in. Headed out by Okeke and knocked down by Suarez. Cal keeps it with Fontana. Inside, Bonflasha. Hudson giving chase.
Florida State playing fairly back as well until they feel they want to charge up with Hudson and Dudley.
Alex Kloss. Cal working side to side. Good touch from Fontana to get by Cologne. Here she is on the run. In the box, Fontana. Backs it all the way out. Whitaker. Couldn't hold the touch, and how about this for a line change? And how about that?
Saw a
first down. That's
I think I heard saw a big lightning strike in the distance here, Jack.
what
and
you want to hear. Also the thunder as well. All 6 resetting like we're going. I guess they're not afraid of lightning or thunder. Okay.
I'm just as confused as you are.
So we are not in a lightning delay. Pump fake. With under 17 minutes, we resume again.
The determining factor, of course, Jack, here is if the lightning strike is within an 8-mile radius of play of the stadium, then you must take cover.
Yes, and I think the fans and also like here in the booth seeing that lightning strike in the distance and hearing the thunder, you would think that's the case. I guess not. We resume play. And listen, I think both teams want that as well. You don't want to ruin any momentum and then having to start and stop.
I think if the Seminoles, too, I mean, if that weather delay came in at that time, you're thinking, oh, no, because this is the moment where we're trying to get fresh legs on. You know, this is where Cal, being as thin as they are, we're trying to outwork them, trying to get, test their stamina and try and break them down. You know, what can we do now with those fresh legs and our subs?
So a lot of changes here for the Noles. Cam Simmons, Mariangela Jimenez, Soleil Washington, Peyton McGovern, Laura Dantes. Gilchrist with the switch all the way over to Mimi Van Zanten. So Jada McGrew comes out. Van Zanten with a ball into the box looking for Washington, cleared away by Doherty.
Doherty just getting a piece of that on the header. Looking to feed Soleil Washington, who's left pretty well alone. Doherty the only one to get in the way and just got a piece of it to redirect the other way.
Van Zanten looking for Maya Brandon, who also just checked into the game. So with those moves, Van Zanten drops to the back line in the back three. McGovern slots in for that midfield role alongside Jimenez and Dantes.
Van Zanten has started at that left back position for the majority of her career, so that is very familiar territory for number 17. And McGovern has come in and done a nice job as the holding midfielder for most of this season. So she'll occupy that 6th spot.
Van Zanten so good at getting up the pitch, the igniter. Brian Penske calls her, service into the box to the back post. Simmons gives chase just too far. Noles not able to connect right now. I mean, that has been the one thing that Brian Penske's been talking about, especially in this 2-game skid, is being able to find that final play, put the ball not just on the net, but on frame. Of course, you have all the shots, right? But you got to be able to put one in between the pipes. They have 3 shots today, but none on target. And they need to find that togetherness to create some chances on goal.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely gone through some moments here, some tough spells, and it's not just when the 2 losses. I mean, they've had a couple of moments where they could have definitely had bigger leads and bigger results against quality opponents, and they just haven't really found that yet. And, you know, it's not so much that the togetherness isn't there in terms of, like, you know, we're not playing as a team. It's just the challenge is how do you rally the troops in tough moments? See, there has to be a self-belief amongst Florida State and amongst these players. They certainly are plenty talented enough. But the key is, you know, can you find some cohesion and chemistry that you can link up with together on a much more well-rounded basis throughout the match? And there have just been too many times where they've just been a little bit out of sync. The service into the box hasn't been there, Jack, or maybe it does get there, and you get a head down, or your shot goes off the post or hits the crossbar. There've just been so many of those this year.
Listen, when you have so much talent, top to bottom on your roster, even what we just saw, 6 different. Washington a touch, Bonflasha there, and all the way back to Y. Teagan taking her time.
See Jimenez now occupying one of those 2 or 3 forward spots, and Soleil Washington occupying a 10 here in the midfield. A little unique and a little out of position, but like you said, you know, Brian Penske's trying to figure out what combinations work the best, and so sometimes you have to switch things up, and as players, you know, you maybe have to be willing to play a different position, and that's certainly the case. Yeah. You know, Florida State has been definitely willing to do that. They are totally willing to, you know, take on a new role if that means getting playing time and trying to make an impact to sell out for your team.
And listen, Jimenez is a goal scorer, though. Transferred in last season, came from the NAIA level at William and Carey, scored 46 goals in the season. She knows how to put the ball in the net. But it's played primarily midfield here for Florida State. But still comfortable up there in that forward role. Only 9 minutes last game for the Venezuelan versus Stanford, her 12th this season. Dantas, touchdown, Washington. Heavy touch, dispossessed. Boy, credit that Cal midfield right now. A lot of this game has been played in the central half of the pitch. And Bonflasha, Alex Kloss, and Coco Thistle. Neil McGuire told us those 3 not just on the pitch, but off of it, so much synergy between them, and it clearly shows while they're playing.
Yeah, they do a great job. Again, all seniors do a great job of handling the ball in the midfield, box to box. And they also don't take they take no prisoners either, especially Kloss. She has a great high stamina. One of the captains on this team as well, one of the leadership aspects for Cal. And so that's a group that is not going to be easy to break down and defeat. And like you said, the game has been primarily played here through about 35 minutes and change between the boxes in the middle. And I think that's a win for Neil McGuire and Cal to keep your midfield's active, and he'll take that experience that he has there, the most trusted part of his group, to be the most active part.
No doubt, Kloss, one of the heartbeats in that midfield. She's gone all 90 the last 10. Big piece. Spent her first 2 years at Santa Clara. Dispossessed Fontana. Boy, she's been great, too, on the left side today. Active all first half for Cal. That time, though, not able to connect a pass. Laura Dantas. Was there to intercept.
Yeah, interception indeed. But Fontana's had quite the journey back. Tore her ACL at the start of last year. And Jack, she was doing what we were doing last year.
Yeah.
I mean, she was up in the broadcast booth and, you know, trying to keep her mind right. There was, you know, concern or, you know, the thought that maybe her career was over. But look, I mean, she's rehabbed really hard to get back to where she is. And I think, no matter where she's positioned, the fact that she's out on the pitch right now is a win for her, and I think is doing her and her team wonders.
Pretty incredible. You see the brace that she's also wearing, too. Her 8th straight start, now a point in her last 3, but Florida State trying to break the deadlock. Knocked away by Bonflasha and cleared away by Hills. Throwing to come for the Noles. Substitution for Florida State. Jordan Dudley will get a break. Peyton Norse into the game. Haven't seen Norse the last 2 versus Stanford and Notre Dame. Last played versus Miami. The Denver, Colorado native checks in for the final 8 minutes of the first half. Shot on target. First of the match for Florida State. First test, but right into the chest of Tegan White.
Dantes showing you the range that she has from well beyond the 18. I think just getting something on the board there for Florida State, I think helps just to unnerve yourself a little bit, just relax a little bit. But you have to follow that up. Yeah, you have to follow that up with a little bit of momentum and seeing if you can work your way back up fast.
Out wide, Van Zanten. Head up, looking for a run, trying to find Washington with pace. She gets on the end of it, twisting and turning. A battle over there on that far side. Washington still with it. And deflects off a Golden Bear. It's the second corner kick of this match. Another look at that Dantes shot.
Yeah, good powerful drive from well beyond traffic. Again, Y in a really solid spot. But just get something if you're Florida State. It's been quite a few minutes since they've been able to have any sort of offensive consistency in the 18. And a nice job here by Florida State getting the ball back. Washington and McMahon, quite the battle, and it forces a corner.
And it'll be Dantes to take the corner on the right foot. High lofted in, swinging ball, knocked away. Fontana gives chase and boots it up the pitch.
And only the second corner. I really think this weather is really affecting both teams. It's a great equalizer. Kind of flattens the advantages that each team really has, and so you have to be a little bit more measured in this setting, especially at the start of the match when you're just trying to find your footing. You got to test the grass, test the conditions.
Now Cal going the other way, far side with Hills. Dantes, the slide, knocks it out of bounds. Throw in for the Golden Bears. Substitution as well for Cal. Kostmayer will take a break, and Mia Van Moore to replace. So Stanford transfer. We'll get a rest for the final 5 minutes. Cam Simmons up to Jimenez. Trying to flick it on. Just not in sync there with Cam, and will be a foul against Simmons.
Yeah, I don't want to say it was an impatient touch, but it's just one of those things where you have to allow your teammate to come and get it, and Jimenez definitely threaded it through between a couple of Bears, but there's just not enough, there's too much real estate for Simmons to track that ball in time.
Y with the boot all the way up the field. Skirts into the box, giving chase is Brandon. Trying to find Washington out for a Cal throw. The rain has been steady, really hasn't given up. Knocked down. Here's Cal, edge of the box. OKK able to clear. Dantes dispossess. Now McGovern. Back with Gilchrist. Looking for Washington in behind. Hills They're just to get in front, throwing for Cal. Credit Hills and Fontana, both the outside backs for Cal, have done a superb job in this first half dealing with the pace for Florida State. Not just those outside backs, but both forwards as well. Now we'll switch to Fontana.
I think from a game plan perspective, Cal's done a brilliant job of keeping the ball on the outside, staying compact, and not letting Florida State work up through the center. There really hasn't been a lot of momentum and open space for the Seminoles to run with through the middle of the field. Outside, they're giving a little bit, but they'll keep the ball on that outside far more than they'll keep it through the middle.
Washington showing off the moves. In the box, Washington, left foot looking for someone. No one's home. Norse gives chase. Cal able to get rid of that chance. Now with Jimenez, back to Dantes. Slide over, Washington slips, and the flag is raised. Offsides. Boy, it looked like Florida State was about to create something there. In the end, offsides, another look.
In terms of technicality, this is one of the better possessions for Florida State with time in the box. Washington does a great job of trying to get the cross, work deep, but there's nobody else to receive that. And there were two attackers for Florida State way too far up the pitch and down the line. You can have somebody up top with her going down, but it'd be nice to have somebody behind as well in case Washington has to work the ball back. You have two options for her to have in terms of a passing lane.
Van Moore applying pressure to Van Zanten. Cal almost slipped behind there, now in the midfield. Back with Borthwick. Van Zanten. Brandon. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. 0-0 the score. It's been a stalemate. Simmons. Ball in behind. Tegan Y out there to claim. And a Cal team this season, 8 shutouts, only allowed 14 goals. These are the type of games the Golden Bears play in. All about getting the result. Both teams really just feeling each other out in the first 45. Fontana, great job. Sliding in, now with space. Here comes Van Moore, all the way outside, running up the pitch is Hills. Looking in behind, Van Moore trying to make a play. Going down, looking for a foul, not going to be called, though KK was there. Boy, tough collision. Van Moore, the freshman, asking for something. Almost the best chance that Cal has seen in that first half. But O'Keen able to grab it and boot it up. Under 20 seconds, Jimenez inside to Dantes. Dantes with a move, 10 seconds remaining now. Looking for a shot, booted all the way up the pitch. And that'll do it for the first half. 0-0 the score. Trevor, it's a stalemate right now. I'm very curious to see how
the questions you ask. But it's been a full buy-in right now of what they've been able to pull off, what they believe in, and they've stuck to their guns. They've been a nice job defensively sound, and they've had timely scoring when they've needed to come away with results. And so they are as strong of a team right now as you could ask for here in the ACC. And with a result, they can get and climb even further up.
We'll see how it shapes out in the final 45. Florida State coming out flying, looking for that cross again, and cleared away by the Golden Bears. All the way back to Kate O'Keen, making her second career start, first in ACC play. And for the Noles, they know that they need a result. You're not just looking for a tie right now. That would move you up into that stalemate between 4 teams. You want the win. You want the 3 points. They're going to be doing everything they can to get one on the board.
I think if you're Cal, you'd be happy to get away with 1 point here in Tallahassee.
It's out wide with Dudley. Here's a chance for the Noles. Dudley creating, Dudley crossing and punched away by Teagan Wide. Third corner of the game coming up.
This is exactly what Florida State needed to do out of this first 45 minutes, in this first minute here in the second half. Come out firing, make it a transition game, force Cal to get out of position and run with you.
Now a corner to be taken. It'll be Anesia Cologne on the service. With the right foot out, swinging ball into a dangerous area, punched in the air by Wise, still on the ground, knocked loose. Dudley with it, still kicked around. Why on top of it? Wow, that was pinballing inside the 6-yard box, a dangerous area. Wrianna Hudson was there, Dudley was there, but Teagan Wise, steady hands.
Looked like a beach ball on the beach for there a little bit right there, Jack. It's just bouncing around and going back and forth, but not able to get cleared away. And so, good job, I think, by both sides there. Florida State able to keeping the ball in with multiple chances, just too many bodies in front for you to get a clean strike, whether it be by the head or by the boot.
Out of bounds from Y, Florida State. Back in possession in Janet Okeke.
Interesting to see here starting out for FSU. You see Mimi Van Zanten back in the left back spot and McGovern starting at the 6.
Here is Van Zanten with the ball. Out wide to McCormack. McCormack cutting inside, playing Wynn in behind. Sophia Wynn with the cross, back post to Cologne. Still moving around and cleared away by Alex Kloss. Boy, here is the urgency from Florida State just 3 minutes into this second half.
Yeah, like the overlapping run with Wynn and McCormack feeding her. That was a really good ball, too, by McCormack to have Wynn close down and get tighter into the 18.
Cologne on the ground. Teagan Y, great job to call off her defense. Didn't corral that ball. But just these first 3-4 minutes alone, it feels like a switch has flipped for the Noles. They look much different than what we saw in the first 45.
Yeah, they're coming out with a lot of energy.
As Y has to slide all the way out. The rain has settled down, but halftime break.
He kind of took the point right there, Jack, of noticing the rain subsiding right now, and I think that just gives Florida State a lot of energy and a lot of spark, less to worry about.
Hudson inside, edge of the 18 with Suarez. Knocked around, Dudley hits the deck, and oh, she goes down, grabbing at that left foot. That's with Gilchrist. Dudley working her way back up, on her feet now.
Yeah, she got clipped from behind as that ball was working away from her. She tried to turn, and Cal player, I believe, was right on her heel.
Not many tougher, though, than Jordan Dudley. Inside, looking to find Hudson or Suarez. Knocked into the air. McGovern battling. Boy, is she gritty in the midfield. Van Zanten. Dudley with a turn. Dudley, what a touch. Dudley couldn't get on the end of it. Fontana there to clear it out, but Cologne's there to keep it. The Arizona State transfer. Beautiful move. Left-footed service. Knocked away and out to win. Here with Mimi. Mimi with a move. Van Zanten to Hudson. Hudson with the left foot and finds the net. Florida State breaks the deadlock, and they take a 1-0 lead.
Beautiful job unlocking the Rubik's Cube. That is the Cal defense. Just what a nice subtle touch by Van Zanten right in front of Hudson. And all she has to do is just control that ball enough to get a solid enough foot on it and go for the far post. Set up here by Sophia Wynn, switching with Van Zanten in terms of positioning. And Mimi does a great job of charging through as well as an attacking presence of her own, even though she's played on defense. but an excellent job by Hudson of just getting that ball and quickly turning and just quickly getting a shot off. The decisiveness, that's something Florida State has just needed to improve just ever so slightly, and they get rewarded with a goal.
The 9th goal and team leading 9th goal for Wrianna Hudson, 3rd assist of the year for Mimi Van Zanten. And it's 1-0 Florida State. In command early on in this second half. This is a Cal team, again, they have came into this game allowing 14 goals this season. 4 of those 14 were in the first half. Majority have come in the second half. Now 11 second half goals they've conceded. So a tale of two halves for the Golden Bears. But again, a team you cannot count out. They find ways to get it done. Florida State trying to maintain the pressure. It's Kostmayer. Out wide with Hills. Pressure being applied by Hudson, switching the pitch.
Now Cal doesn't need to get a goal very, very fast, but what they can and should be able to do, and I hope to do, is keep the ball for a long spurt of time. They can keep this is how you can kind of mitigate Florida State's momentum off of a goal. When you can win the ball and you can stop FSU's flow and momentum offensively, you win time with the ball, you get yourself into an offensive rhythm. It'll increase your chances of getting into the attacking half and gets those chances that you're looking for offensively.
A little bit of an errant touch there on the wing. Florida State able to take it back. And now some patience from the Garnet and Gold. Inside to Dudley. Great touch inside with Spade. She stops. Dudley picks a pass out wide, but the flag is raised. Boy, is she poised on the ball, Jordan Dudley, taking her time, commanding attention. Just a second off right there from connecting with Cologne.
As Cologne works it over to Dudley, absolutely getting pressured with multiple players around her. I think it's going to be Suarez or Cologne. One of those two was offsides. I think Suarez may have been the one who was a little bit out ahead of that back line as Cologne was trying to run on for that pass outward.
A resets play. Tegan Y boots it up the pitch. Good job from McCormack to shield off.
Yeah, how about the physicality by McCormack? You know, she's a player who definitely works well in space with the ball at her feet, has great technical ability, but you love to see some physicality by number 14. Put a little edge in the transfer from Virginia.
Yeah, big time get for Brian Penske in the transfer portal. Was a mainstay starter majority of the season. Didn't start the last 2, but she's back in the starting lineup this afternoon. Across inside, Dudley almost on the end. Here is McCormack. Dudley turning. Dudley knocked out of bounds. And a goal kick. It's been active. Not that penalty, 6-yard spot in this second half. Credit Cal, majority of this game done a good job the ball cleared out, but the difference I think so far with the Noles, Trevor, is those shots and chances they've had have all been on frame, and that was one thing Brian Penske wanted to change. Look at that touch and pass from Jordan Dudley, cleared away by the Golden Bears, and a throw-in for Florida State.
Well, I think the Seminoles have found a 4th and 5th gear. I think, you know, with the rain coming down in that first half, Florida State was operating at a little slower pace.
Sophia Wynn on the ground, cleared away by Hills.
And now as the rain has kind of subsided, as we've noted here, the grass gets a little bit more thicker, a little bit less, a little bit drier, not as wet. And so Florida State is more comfortable getting on their front foot and amping up the speed.
It's Wynn. Great job. Amelie Hop getting down and dirty to block that one. And another corner for Florida State upcoming.
Just see the sacrifice that Cal commits to on the defensive side. They've been slide tackling very nicely on the edges.
Cologne with the service. Lofted ball to the back post. Wide to come out with the punch. Suarez retains it on the edge of the box and back to Van Zanten. Into the box, headed by Dudley. Hudson again! The brace for the sophomore.
How about that off the corner, and Hudson, a big target at 6'2" right there in the center. Second chance as Van Zanten floats this ball brilliantly, headed by Jordan Dudley and settled by Wrianna Hudson. Almost a half volley as she tried to control it out of the air aerially. Doesn't let that ball touch the ground. That's beautifully done. Great skill by number 42, and you touched on it, Jack. Brace, number 10, into double digits for the young sophomore.
She had 9 goals last season. As a freshman, was a part of the ACC all-freshman team. And now in her sophomore campaign, a 10-piece for Wrianna, the Rochester Citizen of the Year. How do you like that? In Florida State, they take a 2-0 lead. And to your mention as well, Trevor, they have just found a different gear here in the second half.
Yeah, you said earlier also the sense of urgency is definitely notable. I think there comes a time where sometimes you obviously analyze the situation in the first half. You get a feel for a team that you haven't really ever faced in such a long time at the bare minimum. Certainly these players have never faced off against each other at this level in college soccer, and so you have to, there is a learning process, a learning curve. You know, you can watch it on film all you want, but until you actually experience it, that's the true test, and that's where you get a better understanding of the situation at play. And the Seminoles have done a nice job here with their second half adjustments in halftime. I don't know what it was that Brian Penske said or what they talked about, but they have found something here. But certainly you can tell you can't teach effort, and that's something that you have to bring yourself out. You can.
For Brian Penske's squad, just needed some good moments to get things rolling right now. On the run on the far side, service into the box. Cleared away by Cal. Dantis gives chase. A couple of substitutions now as well for Florida State.
Yeah, Cam Simmons flying up the wing right there, trying to find Sophia Wynn on the opposite side. Winger to winger.
Laura Dantis in the game as well. Soleil Washington will replace Jordan Dudley up top. Simmons in for Cologne, and Dantis replaced Taylor Suarez. Left wing with Wynn. In behind a McCormack, big touch, but she retains. 1-2 play between her and McCormack. It's back with Una. Van Zanten looking to create. Just outside to Dantis and stolen away by Cal. OKK. All the way back, no problems. And with Cato Keene, her second career start, only faced one shot. Washington keeps possession, physical from Soleil on the edge of the box. Back to Gilchrist with Simmons. Cam Simmons floats one back post. Hudson goes up too far. And now running is Whitaker. Dispossessed. Here's Peyton McGovern. McGovern to Washington. Shielding off. Turning. Washington. Oh, just missed the bottom left corner. Great turn from the sophomore. Just wide with the shot.
Seminoles are finding ways to go inside down the 18-yard line around the box, taking the possession themselves and charging it, going laterally at that point, and then finding a friendly face in white. And Washington, nice job of getting off her defender, but just a little bit too much hips right there in terms of driving it to the left. She just squared that up a little bit more. She would have found the near post for sure. But this is certainly a much more clinical final third that we've seen for quite some time here for the Seminoles.
Jamaica national team products already got 2 goals on the season, was looking for her third. Back to Gilchrist. Simmons turning, dancing out wide to Dantis, crossed into the box, and Tegan Y out to claim.
That's such a great stop by Y. Noel Bonflaza as well, getting in the way. Bears have got to hold court right now on the defensive side, but they're going to have to try and switch the field at some point here to come away with some chances. If they can find the ball to Lumi Kostmayer, she can really do a nice job holding the ball up and get those numbers forward.
Kostmayer was coming off of a game where she scored versus Miami. The 2-0 win for the Golden Bears on the road down there in Coral Gables. Big transfer too for Kostmayer. Just an hour north from Palo Alto up to Berkeley, and leads this Cal Bears squad in goals this season, but the Noles attacking. Moves from Dantas. Back to Simmons. Simmons into Yuna. Looking for some fancy play between her and Soleil. Just missed it. Delivery from Gilchrist, headed by Wynn. Back post, McCormack, and there is Tegan Y. She has been busy in the second half. Easy pickings there on that one, though.
Excellent job all around from both sides. Gilchrist going diagonal ball. Great job by Sophia Wynn to put it back centrally. McCormack unfortunately had to slow her momentum down to put a quality head on it, but by that point she lost that momentum and couldn't put enough of a drive on it.
Foul call, but a quick start for Florida State. Washington on the left foot takes a deflection. One more shot and another deflection. Cleared away by Cal at the feet of Kostmayer and dispossessed by McGovern. It's just another level right now for Brian Penske's group. I want to know what he said in that halftime break again, because they are just at it right now.
This is just relentless pressure. This is exactly the formula for Florida State. When they can get on their front foot and when they can connect passes, they are as dominant and as dangerous of a team offensively in the entire country.
Simmons with space. Service into the box, looking for Washington. Doherty there. McGovern still battling, though, and Bonflasha all the way up. Cato Keene far off of her line. Gilchrist trying to switch the field to Sophia Wynn. Slips under the boot of Whitaker and out for a Cal throw. Long throw taken, headed down by Van Zanten. And back to Gilchrist. Florida State, 4 shots in the first half. Already halfway through this second period, they have 7. 5 of those on frame. That's something that Brian Penske certainly happy to see with some of the troubles that they've had. They outshot Stanford last game. Stanford ended up with more on target.
And that's ultimately what it comes down to, I think, if you're Brian Penske in Florida State right now. It's not so much the total of shots, it's how accurate are you with those shots.
And how about Wrianna?
Just a great layoff by Mimi Van Zanten, who set up really both of these goals for Wrianna Hudson, but an excellent turn. Doesn't waste a lot of time, and that's the key. You know, sometimes you wait for the perfect shot or want the perfect setup. You're not going to get that, you know, in the box, especially against a defensive soundly team like Cal. But just this is beautiful turn work. This is great control over the course of her Seminole career, and here today it has come through very nicely.
Wrianna kept under the umbrella in the first half.
Ashlyn Anderson now in the game for FSU, charging down that right wing. The Seminoles have definitely dialed up that. That has been a formula that has worked here in this second half.
Freshman that they really like, the Carmel, Indiana. Gilchrist with time. Simmons. Another ball in. Washington on the ground, knocked away by Tegan Y. Big save from the senior. Keeps it out of the net. But another corner for Florida State.
Cal is just not doing a better job of marking in the box. There's just too many Florida State Seminoles in the area, and maybe the turf is kind of getting them to them a little bit too. Couple slips, couple falls.
Knocked out and giving chase is Whitaker. Trying to get her teammates up the pitch.
Maureen Ahmed as well into the game, so Brian Penske now has the liberty of going to his bench a lot.
#1 rated recruiting class, and again another new challenge for the Noles. The first time this season they've played a Thursday and a Sunday. It's on a Wednesday, Sunday. It's a little bit of an adjustment. Fontana moving and grooving, trying to create space. There's a pretty little run, and that will lead to a corner. So here's a chance for Cal, their first corner of the match, and an opportunity to try and find the head of 5'11" Lumi. Kostmayer, some other targets there in the penalty area.
I like the move. If Fontana can be moved back up into her natural spot as a forward, that could be something that Cal can look to.
Coco Thistle in swinging ball, headed just wide. That was Malia McMahon trying to get up for that header.
McMahon is definitely their go-to on those set pieces and corners, has a really good strong head about her, obviously intellectually there to man the back line, but will definitely come up from that center back spot to provide goal scoring capabilities off of those set pieces.
She's got 2 goals this season. Looking for the third. McGrew. Pressure from Kostmayer. No rush for the Noles. Gilchrist trying to play it Ontis in behind, showing off the pace. Flicks it inside to Washington. Washington with a touch. Soleil! Over the frame.
Wow, was that a powerful shot?
Yeah, look out.
Tough angle as well, but boy, did that have some power. Just elevated that ball a little bit too much. Plenty of air underneath it, and that's always the challenge when you're trying to hit a ball that's not on the grass. You know, how much can you keep that ball below the bar to give yourself an opportunity, and then also keeping it on frame.
There's Gianna Riley as well with the ball. Her first minutes of the afternoon. Didn't play versus Stanford. Back out today. So again, the advantage for Brian Penske just with the depth. Tegan Y handles business there. And thinking 2-0.
Yeah, the shots on goal in particular here, Jack, that's the key. 7 for the 13 shots, above 50%. That's something Brian Penske loves to target in terms of a stat and a metric for his team. Can we get into the 40% or so of shots on goal for our shots, and they are above the 50% mark? That is a good day for FSU shooting.
And especially the second half, too. I mean, that's just been the real difference maker. 13 total shots, 7 on frame. That's really the area that Brian Penske, as we've been saying, you just can't. But a chance coming for Cal. The better looks that they've had. Be just outside the edge of the box.
McGovern just giving a shove into the back off the throw-in, and that's just one of those unnecessary fouls that you can't allow yourself to commit. And so now Cal about as deep as they've been for a set piece. And if there's going to be a chance for the Bears to come back, this would be a good place to start. Probably look for Malia McMahon. Number 13 is right in the middle of that scrum.
And into the box, headed away Knocked down. Oh, that might have been a handball. Cal calling for it. The Golden Bears sideline can't believe it.
Neil McGuire's walking right down the sideline saying, did you not see that?
I think that was a fortunate break for Florida State, I gotta say. On a dead ball, we'll get another look at that. That was close. That would have been huge for Cal, but they're still attacking. Out wide, great touch right there from Borthwick. Battle from two freshmen. Into the box, O'Keen. Handled cleanly. What a break, I think, for Florida State. I can't believe it. Here's another look.
Yeah, Ahmed tries to head it down. Oh, yeah, there's no question about that. That is a clear miss.
Tough one for Neil McGuire's group.
And that would have left the ball just inside the semicircle outside the 18. So it wouldn't have been a goal, a penalty kick, I should say. But that would have been a dangerous free kick. Very close range opportunity for Cal that they would have been rewarded, but referees did not see that. And Neil McGuire frustrated that that call did not go his way for his team.
And again, you got to go back with this Cal team as Jimenez able to dispossess, no one home on the pass though. They were trailing 2-0 to Virginia a week and a half ago at home, and they scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to walk away with a point in that game. That second goal, by the way, an 88th minute 40-yard strike from Soleil Emery, who was injured versus Miami. So anything is possible with this Cal squad, but that just felt like right there on that missed call, that would have been one of those moments to get them back in.
Yeah, you look for any opportunity and any break you can into the action. Borthwick here down the wing a little bit.
Crew covering Borthwick now inside. Here comes Cal. OKK in front, strong defense. And some words right there for her back line, making sure that they're staying in line. As again, it was all Florida State the first half of the second half. And now Cal with a little sense of urgency trying to flip the script. And they have a corner kick upcoming.
Yeah, they don't have much of a choice. I mean, you definitely want to come away with points. You need 2 goals to make that a reality right now. Cal's got to challenge themselves, and they got to challenge FSU's back line. The Noles have been susceptible to a couple of breakdowns here in the last couple of games.
And a corner for Cal. Left-footed ball, dangerous spot. O'Keen out to punch. The play from the freshman to clear the danger, but Cal, they still got it. Fontana, she's been fantastic in this one.
Yeah, Hills put a good ball in there on the in-swinging corner with that left foot, but O'Keen rising to the occasion here. Hasn't been called a
ball, and Kostmayer. Bodies hit the net. Kostmayer with the shot. Kostmayer finds the back of the net. And oh, baby, we got a game in Tallahassee.
Charge right there in the box. Got really physical here. Look at that great play against Simmons. Wins the ball, wants the positioning and earned it, and tips the crossbar underneath too. Really no chance for O'Keen late on the reaction, but that's just a nice drive by Kostmayer to split the deficit in half. Big goal from number 19. Leads the charge for Cal.
7th of the season. Top bins for Lumi. What keeps things alive. We just mentioned it. Here's a couple substitutions for Florida State. Sophia Wynn and Una McCormack into the game. Gianna Riley and Mariangela Jimenez out to the bench.
So now the Seminoles going back to some of their starters. So now Brian Penske understands he'll have to go back to his top brass. Try and come away with a win here on home soil.
It was a 33-game unbeaten streak at home, snapped on Thursday in the loss versus Stanford. Trying to get back in the win column, and Jordan Dudley around her defender, knocked out of bounds by Malia McMahon, the San Clemente, California native, defending one of the best forwards in the country, but a corner here for Florida State.
Yeah, I think McMahon will certainly take that, though. Jordan Dudley, one of the more dangerous forwards on the run, closing in fast. You do not want her to get free.
Cologne to provide service. At a dangerous spot on the ground, knocked away. Boy, that could have been something. Heads up play from Cal to get it out, flicked in behind. Still bouncing around. And knocked up the pitch, and here comes Cal. They get there in time. Giving chase is Borthwick. Not enough pace. Just too far on the pass. And a throw for Florida State. And I think here is maybe one of the most important changes in the final 14 for Brian Penske is bringing back his engine on the back line, Mimi Van Zanten. She will replace Jada McGrew. But things are just different back there when you got number 17 in white.
Yeah, Van Zanten occupying that left back spot. You can probably make a case she's been the difference of why Florida State's ahead right now. Of course, you credit Hudson with the goals, but Van Zanten has set up both of them off of the set piece for the second one, floats it back in off second chance opportunities, and then just does a nice job of running down the 18-yard box line and just laying it off, putting an excellent through ball to Hudson for her to turn and shoot. See Dudley here dropping back as well into the midfield. That's something that Brian Penske has tooled with and tinkered at the possibility of having number 11 be a difference maker there in the center. Switching with Dudley up with McCormack, who's now at the top, partnered with Hudson.
More direct here for Dudley, who receives the pass from Van Zanten. Now turns, and now hits the deck hard. Also going down, Kenley Whitaker. Good to see that she is all right and making her first career start. Sophomore. Fifth family member to go to Cal Berkeley in the lineage. Picks up the foul versus Dudley. Restart for the Noles. Van Zanten. Call her name a bunch since coming back in the game. McGovern slips through. Finds Dudley. Dudley with a turn. And Whitaker able to clear it away, but a little shaken up still.
I think she's still grimacing from that tackle against Dudley on that challenge. You can tell she is pretty uncomfortable out there right now.
And the Noles pressing with McCormack. Cleared away by Bonflasha. And a corner upcoming. And the Bears on their heels right there. But more time again. A Cal team that came back to tie versus Virginia 3 games ago. They got 11 minutes in this one to make something happen. Florida State trying to shut the door. Cologne to the back post, rising up, punched away by Y. Suarez one-timer. Up and over the net. And out for a goal kick. Haven't called Taylor Suarez's name too often in this match. We'll get another substitution as well for Cal.
So Hop comes in for Whitaker. Whitaker gets a well-earned break. Probably gives her a chance to recuperate as well.
No doubt.
Fist bumps all around from Neil McGuire and the staff, teammates. She's been a great spark off the bench for Cal, former gymnast as well. Great flexibility, but great energy.
Now on the run. Taylor Suarez, edge of the box, back to Cologne. Great in her service, delivers one. Dudley! Not enough juice on that header. Into the mitts of Tegan Y. Another look on that one.
Yeah, she was just a little bit too far up. If Cologne puts this a little bit further forward, I think there's a really good chance of that being a really hard shot off the head. There was definitely plenty of juice on the shot, on the cross.
Absolutely. Coming up on 10 minutes remaining in the second half. This was a Cal Golden Bears team picked 10th in the ACC preseason poll. Coming into today, 3rd in the conference. Looking for that point that they have found 7 times already this season. Three times in the ACC. Throwing for the Noles. And for Florida State, 3 points right now is everything. Win, dangerous ball, back post. Tegan Y. She's been great with the gloves today. Left, right, up, down, punching everything.
This for a windmill punch out here. Love that work like that right there. That's insane. Great timing you have to come up with there to punch that out. You usually see keepers with 2 for protection, but nice little windmill, almost air guitar-like moment.
She's got some swagger back there.
I have to say, she almost did her best impression of the tomahawk chop.
Yeah. My family of goalkeepers as well, Tegan Y. And you see why with her play. This afternoon, out of bounds, Florida State to throw. Quickly to Sophia Wynn. And offsides, Wrianna Hudson. Cal to take it. Time is now of the essence. Tegan Y is going to get her crew up the pitch. Try and start something from the back.
Yeah, despite giving up the 2 goals, Y's just been as solid as they come and continues the lineage of Cal goalkeepers that have come through the program for quite some time. Most recently, Angelina Anderson. Then Emily Boyd, Emily Kruger back in the day as well. So, Neil McGuire's had quite a few good keepers that have been in his program.
Good job from Mimi Van Zanten. Physical as they come, staying in front to shield off Lumi Kostmayer. Roll it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think if you're Florida State at this point in the match, you have to be ever so mindful of protection and being very sure-footed and sharp on the back line. Another goal would be great for sure. But more importantly is to not allow the Cal Bears any extra opportunities and extra possessions like you're going to see here. Hudson a little too physical, challenging for the ball.
Foul called.
Yeah, that's another foul here for FSU. They've gobbled up quite a few here this afternoon.
Now 9 fouls for Florida State. $15 shots compared to Cal's 4. It's a 2-1 game. Deep ball delivered. Bouncing around. Here's a chance and a goal! The Cal Golden Bears won't be denied. They find the answer, and it's Mia Fontana. Wow!
Just perfectly placed. Goes over the head of Heather Gilchrist. And it just falls right down in front. There's like a mini touch, and Fontana is there to clean it all up. And what a moment. The Cal coaching staff and bench is going nuts.
Unbelievable. You love the embrace you see there from Neil McGuire and his staff. There's going to be a video review on this one. Maybe checking for an offsides or something. Brian Penske wants to take another look. I mean, you just can't speak enough for this Cal team against #1 Virginia. Oh, see Fontana. I don't know.
There's nothing there off the shot, Jack, because
looking at.
Yeah, there's nothing there on the shot. Hops well in front of the FSU back line for the shot. If it's going to be anything, I would imagine.
Trying to decide. But you see both teams out, ready to rock. There's the hero for Cal. Back-to-back games now with a goal. for Mia. Just doing everything she can. Was moved to left back today because of the injuries on this Cal roster. Came in with only 14 active field players, but ends up being the hero up front. Mia Fontana, the best of both worlds, defense and attack. Here's another look from the kick.
We're just not going to see enough there down into the box. I mean, you see where Van Zanten is.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's well in front, obviously in front of Hop. So it can't be an offsides call there. I don't know if there's maybe a foul that you have to consider here, but I think that's pretty clean.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much doesn't really seem like a chance for offsides. I'm not quite sure what else you're looking at here. It's quite a long review as well. But now here's the case, Trevor. You got 6.5 minutes left. Actually, we're going to get an official call. It's a goal. You hear the reaction from the Cal sideline and players on the field. They can't believe it. My goodness, we've done it again. 2-2 the score. And listen, for Florida State coming into this game on the outside looking in, a goal right now is forever the more important. Cal this season has not allowed more than 2 goals in a game. So Florida State needs to do what hasn't been done and try and come out at home with 3.
Yeah, for Florida State, I think 3 points is immensely important at this juncture. And, 3 points isn't out of the realm for Cal right now. They have the momentum. They have the juice, Jack.
Not at all. I mean, 1 point right now would make it a 4-way tie between NC State, Virginia, Louisville, and Florida State at 14 points.
And keep in mind, you still have so many dominant teams that are also wanting to enter the house of the top 6. Duke, North Carolina, Wake Forest. Those are dominant programs of the past years in the ACC. They are not in themselves, so there is plenty of ACC soccer left to be had. And as we've touched on, every point matters. And for Cal to come away with another point, remember, they only have 1 game left, too. So that's going to be an all-important game with Stanford.
Well, listen in, ladies and gentlemen. 0-0 in the first half. You're in for quite a treat in the final 6. It's been a great final 45 as well. We'll see what happens here in Tallahassee. Florida State wasting no time trying to get on the attack with Cam Simmons. Inside finds Taylor Suarez. Back to McGovern. McGovern, she's got space. Peyton McGovern. Shot is blocked. And we'll go out for a Florida State corner. So here we go right away.
And the Seminoles have to come with the energy that they came out with here in this second half at the start of it. That's what got them the 2-goal lead. They're going to need a similar mojo, similar momentum.
Here's Suarez on the service. McCormack was there, just skips over her head. Gilchrist giving chase.
Missed everybody.
Sophia Wynn. Wynn making moves. It's the hero for Cal. Showing her thing on defense as well. Knocks it out of bounds. Mia Fontana. Another corner coming for Florida State.
And Fontana's just been everywhere along the pitch, showing her versatility, her tenacity and toughness.
Tegan Wise been great with the gloves on these corners. Suarez, liner of a ball, another one upcoming. It'll be the 10th corner for Florida State.
I'll tell you what, that may not have even reached the post. That's actually a break for the Noles.
Suarez, same type of ball. OKK got a piece, but knocked out and booted all the way back up. Cara Borthwick. 4 minutes at ticking. Here in this one, 2-2 the score. Cal down 2-0, have found a way again. Kostmayer, Fontana in a 10-minute span. Too far, too much weight on that pass, and out for a corner kick, or excuse me, a goal kick. And now if you're Cal, you just sit back and let that clock tick.
I'm curious how aggressive Cal wants to be if they want to take a chance for a go-ahead goal. I mean, I think they're thrilled in the position they're at right now without question.
Here's Wynn with McCormack. Dudley knocked into the air. Hudson battling for position. Bonflasha up to Kostmayer. Chested down, now headed off by Van Zanten.
That's a great win for Van Zanten against Kostmayer, who has been owning those balls up in the air. She is tough to break down and defeat on aerial balls and to settle and to hold up play.
Florida State all the way up the pitch. It's with Van Zanten. Delivery with the left foot, looking for Dudley. Headed away. McGovern on the edge of the box. Another header, chested down. Dudley will draw the foul. I think that's right outside of the box. It is. One that Cal didn't.
Boy, oh boy, this is actually very fortunate for Cal. That Suarez over it as well.
Let's see who takes it. Tegan Wise sets up her wall. They're bouncing. Suarez back to Dudley. Dudley over the crossbar. Now under 2 minutes to play.
I like that idea, trying to get the ball off the spot. Maybe try and force Cal to get a little bit outside of their wall, just break it down a little bit for an avenue to pop through a valley. In the end, Dudley just elevates it too far over the crossbar, giving it no chance. Cal did a good job of holding things down and not getting too far off their marks.
Here's a ball from Dudley. Running is Simmons, and Tegan White will lay out on that ball, and again, no rush. Coming into the home of the defending ACC champions. Hurt, short-handed, and trying to find it. Now Dudley looking for another chance. Jordan Dudley blocked by Cal. The 11th corner kick upcoming for the Noles. 1 minute to play. This game's been flipped on its head from first to second half. Taylor Suarez lofted into the box. Dudley goes up, knocked down. Van Zanten the shot. And it's wide, but it took a deflection. Corner's called. Noles going quick. Suarez gets it. 35 seconds to go.
Everybody on pins and needles right now. 30 seconds and counting.
Suarez lifts the hand, lifts the ball. Why the punch? Out to Van Zanten again. She touches it down. Van Zanten blocked. 20 seconds now. McGovern gives chase. Out to Suarez. Here's one more chance. Into the box and headed away. 10 seconds now. Win. Lofts it in. 7 seconds. Headed up. OKK. Dudley. 2 seconds. And that will do it. The Cal Golden Bears. They have found their way again. Coming back from 2-0 down. 2 goals.